The Cox College Preview is presented by Tidewater Home Funding, funding your dreams since 2000, and by Cox Communications, your friend in the digital age.
Here in Charlottesville, the mood is good. Last season, Virginia went 8-5 and went to a bowl game. Mike London's looking for even more improvement in his third year. But the big question, who will be the Cavaliers quarterback?
We know when we first got here, Mark Verica was a fifth-year guy that was the only quarterback that had been in a college football game. And the following year, playing Michael Rocco and David Wofford, allowed us to get, some guys that, some depth and allowed us to get some experience back there. So now we're to the point where we got Michael Rocco, and David Wofford that they've gained a measured amount of experience playing quarterback in college football games. We're blessed with an opportunity to have another talented player. Phil Simms come in, and then now it makes that position and where we are now, that quarterback can be a strength of our program. It's coming around the corner here where we may have to make a decision, particularly a redshirt decision for one of the three. But the competition has really brought out the best in all three of them. We talked about in the beginning the building of a program, and it starts from inside out, and it goes with the type of coaches you have. I believe I have a great coaching staff, the type of young men that are coming here as far as our recruiting classes. And there's a little bit of a growing pain, with new culture, identity, what's acceptable. I'm a big go-to-class guy, show class, and the way you treat people. And sometimes you have to lose players in order to set examples about what you want on your program. And we've kind of gone through that a little bit, and the recruiting classes now have reflected young men that want to come in and get a great education from the university, but also at the same time want to compete.
You talk about quarterback potentially being one of the strengths of this team. Certainly, offensively, you got to be able to put some points on the board.
I would hope so. We have a receiver core that has been as fast as I've seen, and we have some guys that can stretch the field vertically is what you need, and then we have some tight ends that have been in the game. And I think when a quarterback has a full complement of receivers, tight ends, and let's not forget our Superman back there, Perry Jones, right, and Kevin Parks, those guys. And when he has the ability to use those assets, then it opens things up for us. So we're going to find ways to try to attack opposing defenses with the skill positions we have on the team.
What's your number one concern about this year's Cavalier squad?
Well, you look in the back end a little bit. We're young, To say Trey Nicholson is the veteran and he's a true sophomore, right. As a freshman All-American, and but the guys that are playing back there are guys that have played in college football games. Some young players that we're looking at to step in and provide not only starting experience but depth. So I would say that as they go, our front four is going to have to make sure that the best pass defense is a pass rush. And that's one of the things that we have to make sure that we're strong at in order to help those guys.
How close are you to being a team that will be thought of as one of the contenders, at least in the preseason, for whatever it's worth?
Well, they can pick us last if they want to. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish. And, sometimes we don't get caught up in all, the predictions and things like that, because we're a program that's trying to establish our own identity, to trying to recruit the state of Virginia and get some of the best players to come there, that's trying to win important games. Our on-the-road record was pretty good record this year. So there's a lot of things that that we need to take care of ourselves and let other people talk about how pertinent we are, how good we may be. But right now we're just worried about ourselves and each player just kind of finding out whether on game day, it's not going to be starting 11. It might be 18, 19 guys on one side of the ball that's going to contribute in some kind of way. So that's what we're trying to find out now, what the identity of this program is. And so it's a good balance. It's a good balance of older guys that have been around a couple years, that have experienced, this bowl game, but some younger guys that have come from high schools, all over the country, particularly the state of Virginia, that want to play, that have been successful at their high school. So we're about in that mixture point. I'd say another year or two of recruiting classes, then you'd see a kind of a complete turnover of the program. But right now, everyone that's stayed with the program that's here has bought into what we got going, and that's what's important.
Don't go away. We've got more on the Cox College Football Preview right after this.